Hey folks, welcome to the DaddyGate podcast with myself, Chancer, and Weezy is still asleep at the moment.
What's up, yo? What's going on?
Yeah, man, that was a king move. It was a good way. I mean, it must be difficult being such a Chad, you know, just falling asleep mid conversation, and then that's it. That's the end of the stream.
Man, yeah, I don't know. My head hurts today. Epic night though, all the way around.
Self-inflicted, man, and you know, sometimes you have to suffer for your art, you know. So
took one for the team. Yeah, man, it's man, where do we begin? Man, I mean, I guess we can begin with the now infamous setup interview part 2. You know,
setup from. I mean, it smelled like a setup from the start, but yeah. You know, you did say, well, no, I'm going to take it on good faith, you know, and we'll offer the right platform conditions for a platform for a conversation, no fucking about. But of course it descended, didn't it? It seemed like an attempt to get your name about 4 or 5 times. They also asked what information you know about Chancer. So people say what's on the forefront of their mind quite often, you know. So these little things that were slipping out of Mr. Esposito's mouth, it certainly seemed as if he'd just been put on to try and get information. I don't know whether they thought you would just blurt out your full name and address and everything. Yeah. They're mistaken, obviously.
When I saw some people write notes that they could hear paper crumbling in the background.
Yep.
People whispering. Well, obviously someone else was there. I mean, he
was clearly talking to someone else. You could hear him saying, he was like saying things. He was definitely speaking to somebody. And he was like, oh, wait, just, you know, like that. It sounded as if someone else was there because he needed somebody to hold his hand. And yeah. I think as you got more intense you held your line so well. I think the guy that was sitting next to James was just holding James's hand tighter and tighter and tighter, and it threw James off. And then obviously he just punched James to the ground and grabbed the phone.
Pretty much, bro. Like, I think it caught everyone by surprise. So for all those that did not catch that interview, it was an epic interview. It's on my secondary channel. The link will be on the description of this channel. Epic night, man. So James Esposito, we had been talking about him. He's the cameraman. Attwood calls him his cameraman. And
his guarantor.
Guarantor, yup, everything.
Witness.
And he's
the kind of guy that lets Shaun Attwood tell him what to do, basically.
Well, yeah, and Shaun said that he knew everything about DaddyGate. So I go, what an awesome opportunity to get someone that is on the inside of all things DaddyGate. So if I ask him any question, he should be able to, even if it's bullshit, he should be able to give me some kind of answer.
And quickly.
Yeah. And as everyone that tuned in last night, we saw that there was many things he did not know about. He didn't know nothing about the landlord lady, you know, the landlady. That was a red flag to me as I was talking to him because, you know, he had later said that he can't see Shaun doing anything bad. Shaun never does anything, you know, questionable or any of that stuff. And then when I asked him about the landlady, he's like, well, I'm not too well versed on that. That just sounds like a convenient excuse, man.
Yeah. He
had this image, or maybe he really does have this image of a clean-cut Shaun, and yet he doesn't want to look into the landlord GoFundMe scam. You know what I'm saying? That was huge red flags as soon as he said that.
It sounded like he was in a police interview, you know. He was trying to use the old "I can't remember" or "I don't know" kind of defense, you know.
No.
So what's the point in coming on? And then he was like, well, what do you want me to do? Make up an answer? And it's like, we don't want you to make up an answer. We want you to recognize that the reality of the situation, which he himself said that he disagreed with, the daddy video. You weren't asking him to give you any alternative viewpoint of that. The reality of the matter is it's exactly what it fucking looks like, you know.
No.
But he kept sort of going down this road. Well, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to say something that I don't believe? I certainly don't. I don't think that he agrees with the DaddyGate video as wholeheartedly as Shaun Attwood probably wanted him to agree with it on the air, because even he was hesitant in discussing it properly. You know, he just said it's an error of judgment. I mean, Harvey Weinstein made many errors of judgment. An error of judgment is an error. Everyone who kills someone makes an error of judgment. You know, there's many things you can pass off as an error of judgment, but errors of judgment don't usually take several months to plan, which is what Attwood said.
No.
You know, he said there'd been several months of planning with Cali before it finally culminated in her dropping to her knees dressed as a toddler and calling him daddy. I don't know if they had, like, you know, drawing boards and stuff before they got to that stage, but...
Well, there was so many things that he was being evasive about. He didn't want to answer. And, you know, one of those things was the whole making, you know, the prank on the troll. I'm like, dude, that is a stupid excuse. He kept saying that people like yourself, people like myself, we just keep guessing. We just keep guessing. I'm like,
yeah,
we're looking for the most reasonable reasons for all this.
Yeah.
And
the most obvious reasons.
Yeah. And I called him out. I go, look, the most reasonable thing is that he got caught out. He got caught out, and he's just trying to cover his tracks. And he's like, oh, no, it was a prank on pedophiles. And then when the question was asked, why did Attwood, if they were recreating an event, why did Attwood have to take the role of the pedophile? Yeah. Silence, bro.
Silence, stunned silence. We'll put that in, we'll clip that in here, I think. But yeah, stunned classic. Silence. I mean, he was quiet for about. Oh, it was a very long time.
It was a long time, bro.
I sent you that little clip with the EastEnders at the end of it because I thought it was such a dramatic moment. But I actually had to shorten the silence for that little clip.
Yeah,
because he was actually it's actually a much longer silence than that.
Dude, as soon as he said it, he didn't say nothing. I'm like, all right, I'll just wait till you say something, bro.
Exactly.
I got all day.
The way you delivered that, though, as well, man, it was just amazing.
You know, you mentioned earlier that Cali was playing the role of a decoy, and, you know, it was an elaborate way to catch. So why was Shaun Attwood playing the role of the pedophile?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, that was, bro.
Attwood's sitting there like, fuck.
He's like, oh shit.
Why, James? Why? Like, couldn't have James just says, I don't believe that that's what he was doing. You know what I mean?
He had nothing.
I don't know.
He had a week to prepare, and he had no answer for that.
No, because the problem is they're legends in their own ego. They think like, oh, we'll nail this guy. It's going to be amazing. Blah blah. You come with me and hold my hand. And then, you know, what was that supposed to be like? I mean, like what? Like still a voice on the end of the phone. So are you supposed to be like extra intimidated because it's a different voice or something? I mean, it was an attempt at intimidation. I mean, the guy came on, he sounded mad. He had tears of rage in his eyes, you could tell. I mean, he wasn't like, you shut him down immediately and quickly, and it was the only option, so very quick thinking.
Man, no one was expecting that, bro. I don't know who that character was. As soon as he came on, though, I was like, oh shit, this is the social worker, remember? So for those that don't know, I did put the screenshots on the live stream there, but James was trying to sneak on a quote-unquote outreach worker for Cali. I never said I was good with it. I never said I was bad with it. What I did say was, I need to verify this person is legit, and I need verification that Cali consents to this.
Yeah.
I never got anything, man. When this clown comes in and tries to dictate how the conversation... I've never talked to this guy in my life. I don't know who the hell this guy is, but he's now coming on trying to dictate the terms of the conversation. I didn't know what else to do, man. I was like, man, who the fuck are you, bro? And yeah, I just figured...
He came on with such a superiority complex as well, didn't he, that guy? It was crazy. Like, it was like jabbing his finger. Like, don't you speak to people? What was it? All these no, because that's what he said. He says all these excuses that you're. So he basically grabbed the phone off James and said, "These excuses that you're giving for not giving your name are just ridiculous." You know what I mean? It was like they were absolutely desperate for that, and the guy got so mad that you weren't giving your name. And I think the funny thing is, like with Shaun Attwood and James and things, they think that nobody knows our name. They just don't realise they are just not privy to the information that some people are privy to. They think that we're anonymous to each other, for example. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's they sort of live in this imagination that, well, you're anonymous, so you're on your own, so we can kind of, you're doing everything on your own and no one in your lives knows about it and all this kind of, it's like so many people that I know that I do this and will most likely be listening to this just now. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like...
I tried answering his stupid ass question and I went back and listened to it earlier this morning, and every time I tried to answer, he thought he had me, he thought he had won the argument, like, well, like jumping in. And
yeah,
I try to keep my cool. I'm like, dude, let me answer your fucking question. And it was just over and over. And I was getting fed up with it, man. It should have been a question that I could have answered in 2-3 minutes. But because he kept interrupting, it was just dragging on for 10, 15 minutes. And
because they really wanted that information. That's why. They'd really want that.
Yeah, that was the very first thing with his aggression. Tell us who you are. Tell us who you are. And then he said I was counter intel.
Yeah, just...
what was that about, bro?
Just a load of bullshit, man. Ridiculous. They think they're talking to Shaun's audience. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, what are they going to do with our names anyway? I mean, I'm sure you've pissed enough people off in life to actually know your name anyway. You know what I mean? As have I. Yeah. You know what I mean? Through the years, you gain enemies now and again sometimes, as a man in the world. And people know your name. So what do they expect to do that's going to be special with a name? You know what I mean? Unless it's
just a weird fetish.
It's just Attwood's attempt to try and dox or anything like that. It wouldn't change anything. It wouldn't stop any videos getting made.
No. That's all they have, though, and that's the thing. That's all James had. He brought nothing else, and you and I had been going over what the potential outcome of the conversation. I mean, we both weren't sure if he was even going to come on. So I did give him, props on the air that, dude, I commend you for coming on because I didn't think you were going to come on. And then after 40 minutes, 35 minutes, it just started heading down south. He wasn't happy. Some of the questions that were asked, he didn't have an answer for, and it was stumbling him. And they started getting annoyed. But then when the other guy comes in and immediately attacks me for not showing my face or disclosing my information, I knew then that was the whole point of them coming on. It wasn't for anything else except for Shaun Attwood propaganda and to try to get me to disclose who the hell I was. Just weird, man.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah,
a whole week to prepare, and that was the whole game plan, And it was just the Cali Diamond part 2. In many ways, they had been in communication with Shaun. There was so many questions, so I want to thank everyone that sent me questions to ask. Unfortunately, I couldn't ask everything, and there were many good ones. There were many ones that I wanted to ask, and I didn't get to ask. I was expecting the conversation to go at least another hour, but after 1 hour, it abruptly ended.
Yeah, but then he kept trying to phone you back as well, didn't he? Well,
I don't know if it was him or the other clown. That's why I didn't answer.
So did that other guy come in on a different call then, a different line?
No.
Came on in the same line that James was on?
He was in the same house.
He was with James, yeah.
He was with
That's
James.
What I thought.
He just it's like he pushed him down. This is my phone now. I'm going to take...
Yeah. Pushed him face down on the bed, grabbed the phone.
What's the definition of a cuckold?
It's
I'll let people.
It's a guy who knows his wife is cheating on him. I think that's what it is, isn't it? Or lets his wife.
No, lets it happen.
lets it happen.
Yeah.
So, but that could be a little bit of that, because obviously this little husband, and then the other guy was definitely acting as Shaun Attwood's husband. No one gets that defensive over, for someone else.
Yeah, but
unless they're in a long marriage.
Who lets someone take their damn phone away from them?
Yeah, totally.
To yell, you know what I'm saying? And
bending his thumb back, give me that phone.
I didn't hear James or nothing, to stop him or be like, hey man, give me my phone back. Hey, that's nothing. It was just quiet. He just sat in a corner, took his place, and cowered in shame, dude.
Can you imagine? Give me that phone back. Stop it. You know what, man? They were so inept. And the guy that came on afterwards sounded like the least scary or intimidating person that could ever be used to try and intimidate somebody. Yeah, but it was like those two prank callers last time. Who I'm going to give.
It's all tied up, man. Because did you see the live chat? Some people were saying this one character kept saying that Weezy needs to be reported for talking to minors on this show.
No, I didn't see that.
So I'm like, man, this is all. It's all related. They're trying to set me up in any way they can. So,
I mean, I would have reported you for talking to mine. I'd have done a video on that, you know what I mean, exposing you. So, but I mean, the guys that phoned last time, they sounded like 16-year-olds. When they said they were 16, I was like, they do sound like 16-year-olds, to be honest with you. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But James Esposito also sounded like a 16-year-old, and for him to come on to my comments and talk about, Chancellor sounds so, I think he said, officious, and like he's lecturing and stuff like that. It's like listening to James Esposito, I would imagine that he probably thinks everybody sounds like they're lecturing him, to be honest, because he sounds, he sounds like he's got an inferiority complex, and for good reason,
Well, that's why I used that term earlier. It relates in so many ways. I'll let people do their own homework on that. But yeah, man, I get what you're saying. He gets pushed around easy. He was trying to defend his buddy, a crap attempt at that. But you can see it, man. It's a weak person mentally. Very weak all around. I'm not just talking physically, man. Just a weak person that
you don't have someone there during a phone call in the first place. You don't need to. You might have someone in the room, but they don't come over and take your phone off you and start speaking for you. It doesn't happen.
We need to make an animation for that, bro. Like,
yeah.
Esposito talking on the phone, and then this dude just comes out of nowhere and rips the phone, and then he just cowers to the corner, lets everything happen, doesn't do nothing about it. Hey, give me my phone back.
He's got tears in his eyes.
Oh, man, that was so ridiculous, man. But
it's ridiculous, but these are the kinds of people that Attwood surrounds himself with. He surrounds himself with the weak and the willing. Shaun Attwood is your typical alpha among betas. He's like the alpha of the betas. He's like surrounds himself with weak people so he can be the guy in the middle that controls them. He's got Cali Diamond, obviously an extremely vulnerable, messed up person and very easy to control in certain ways. James Esposito coming on and doing what he's told to try and get your name over a long, 40-minute quivering conversation where someone else is like, give me that damn phone, James, you're not doing it properly. That's Shaun Attwood's like toughest guy coming on,
Shaun Attwood sending his goons after us.
His goon calls you at the very end. He said, he was like, listen everybody to this pseudo intel, and then you cut him off. As soon as he addressed the crowd as well, it's like, bye mate, what I mean? You're not here to address the audience.
Exactly. I'm not going to give you a platform.
But to call someone a pseudo-intellectual, it's like, so you think that you're an intellectual then, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man, let's get off our fucking high horses here. None of us are claiming to be intellectuals, apart from this idiot that came on the phone at the end by the looks of things.
Yeah.
It would have been lovely to have somebody intelligent and well-spoken come on and engage in a debate about things, you know what I mean? Yeah. Something that people can think about and discuss, and we can all You know what I mean? That would have been good, but there's nobody on that side that does that. There's nobody on that side that is prepared to take up that mantle. The only people that are on that side of things are the people that do what Shaun Attwood wants to do, and the other people who are too afraid to call him out because they want to get on his show again. That's the only people that are on that side of things.
Yeah, I mean, a whole week to prepare, and that was the best they had. You know, I had that copyright strike earlier. And for those that don't know, I made a video where Cali, or Shaun's talking to Cali. The whole thing sounds manipulated, looks manipulated. You even did a video on it. You covered it.
Looks, especially when you consider Cali's got autism, it's actually quite concerning.
Yeah, just contrived, 100%. And in your video, you did a great job in showing the clear contradiction where Shaun is willing to admit guilt for the whole entire thing. And then in that recent stunt, he's trying to shift all the guilt, all the blame on Cali.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways. So I did a video because they specifically addressed myself and BH as mentally ill. Shaun does. And I felt I can respond to that and give my thoughts on that. I did that. I made a completely different video. And the video was pushed by a middle person onto their platform. I grabbed the video from there. And then I got a copyright strike. I asked James Esposito about that. He had no answer. You know, this is a filmmaker, cameraman. He should know a thing or two regarding.
Well, his answer was awful. It said, "Well, I would suggest that you just don't use any copyrighted material then." But that's, you know, fair use, I'm afraid, yeah. Matey. I mean, he didn't. His documentary that he wanted you to pimp out for him, so to speak, maybe unfortunate terminology to use, because it seems that these people do seem to have an awful lot of control over Cali and her documents and things like that. So maybe pimp out is the wrong word. But in relation to his documentary, he didn't film all the footage in that documentary himself. A lot of that is taken from news reports and things like that and, you know, put together. You know, it's like and to talk about fair use when Attwood reads copyrighted material on his platform every day, and you know, fair enough. Me not to use it,
but it's all right for
how YouTube works. But said I would suggest you just don't use any copyrighted material. That is the lamest answer ever. That's like saying, well, if you want to be really safe, I would suggest that you just never ever leave your house and never drink anything except water. You know, it's like, yeah, you can live like that, but that's not how life works, and certainly not how YouTube works either.
Well, just another. You know, that's officially the third copyright strike from Attwood. And
he does love his strikes.
Just a strike machine, man, and it's completely BS. More on that at a future time, but he didn't really have any answer to a lot of these things, man. This is his buddy. Wasn't coach, but going back to that Cali thing, you know, the whole video where Shaun is trying to shift the entire blame on her. He claimed he didn't see that either. You know, Mr. Esposito claimed he didn't know about that, and he didn't see my video, supposedly. It just seems convenient. All the important, pertinent stuff that is not a good look for Shaun. For whatever reason, he's got I didn't see it, or I don't know too much about that. You know?
Yeah, I've got no defense for it. That's
he's living in his own little bubble, man, where, you know, anything that strays away from that little bubble of comfort with Shaun, he's not going to venture out and seek the damn truth.
He doesn't care because it doesn't bother him that the whole Cali video happened, Cali being a guest on his show and ending up in a sexual relationship with Shaun Attwood, according to Cali, and taken advantage of, and her nudes are now all over the internet, and that's because Shaun Attwood published them as part of a prank, supposedly. So, you know, super taking advantage of people in this case. I mean, okay, they leaked, but he says that he published them on purpose, so he actually leaked those nudes as well of Cali, if we're to believe him. And James Esposito doesn't see anything wrong with that. You know, like if it was a friend of mine doing that, I would be like, I don't know if I'd really be doing that, dude. It sounds like you might get yourself into a little bit of legal trouble doing that.
Having this quote unquote social worker
oh, that's just unbelievable. I mean, to even claim that you've got someone else's social worker on the phone is so morally out there. You know what I mean? It's so in the dark. Callie's in prison just now, and somebody on the outside who knows her is saying, "I've got her social worker for you to come on this podcast." That is, I would consider that to be abusing Callie. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody talking about her like that and suggesting that they've got an official spokesperson who knows all about her situation to come on and talk to you, when obviously they don't. That's obviously bullshit. But just to even suggest it is like so wrong. It's so outrageous. No matter what you think of Callie, it's completely out of order to try and get somebody to come on and act as her social worker. It's bang out of line. I don't know if there's any laws or anything that's been broken there.
The Guilford Council knew about this? Well, how would they feel?
Well, Guilford Council apparently do. Well, Shaun said they do. Shaun said they asked him to house Callie, and now this guy, this social worker who may well be from Guildford Council, they're using certainly the name of a social worker or the sort of the job title of an outreach worker to claim that they've got a real a real person's social worker. It's not like Callie's a fake person. This is a real person, and they're claiming that they've got her outreach worker. So that individual must exist. And if that individual works in Guildford Council, do they know about this?
No. Well, and that's why I put the screenshots, because I didn't really make it out as public knowledge that this person could potentially come on. And as soon as they came on, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is the social worker. And just wanted to,
another controlling middle-aged man who seems to be connected to Cali Diamond. How interesting.
It's just all these middle people, man. I mean, whether it's passing videos so that he can copyright strike me through a third party, now using James to, push his propaganda, another third party. And then you have this other quote unquote social worker coming in, trying to push his agenda, Shaun's agenda, as a third party. It's just, the pattern is clear, man. I've told him from day one, man, from months ago, that he could come on and we could air it out. And he's refused. He doesn't even email me when I email him. He'll tag me when he wants to try to threaten me or lawsuit me. He'll send lawsuited shit through Cali or send me emails through another third party. But he won't have the balls to fucking talk to me. Air it out. I wonder why.
Exactly, because if you're telling the truth and defending your reputation, it's the easiest thing in the world to do, And it doesn't require any planning or forethought.
Yeah, if you got the truth, there's nothing to hide. And just these third parties, man, passing videos, passing lawsuited statements, emails.
What's the goal for that then? What is that? What is the goal there? The thing that's starting to come to me more is genuinely, it seems like these people have got so much control over Cali. Like, I really do start to see that, because I was doing a little bit of research yesterday and I was watching the True Geordie podcast. Remember when Attwood passed those documents across the table?
Yeah.
And, it said on those I couldn't see what it said, but I could see that it said private and confidential. I couldn't make out the rest of the text, and I could see the Home Office logo. So he's there without Cali, and he's handing her private and confidential documents just over the table in front of a camera, to two other podcast hosts, just with that sort of level of, these are my documents, I can do what I want with these, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if they're Cali's, like, these are mine, I control Cali. And it seemed like, and this is just my observation and my opinion based on that video, and it seems like also when he sort of set her up into the property and stuff like that, it was without any real care for Cali afterwards. It was like, just chuck her in the property, and there's no real consideration for how she's going to get out of that situation, because they didn't have enough to cover the rent and were therefore evicted for non-payment of rent and antisocial behaviour, from what I can gather. And if they weren't evicted, they were definitely asked to leave by the landlord anyway. It's like Attwood just puts Cali into these situations without any concern for her reputation. He leaves her to take the flak. It's, I don't know, it's just like he just treats her like contemptibly, I think. And like I say, it doesn't matter what you think about Cali, but that's what I'm seeing out in the open, and it just
manipulation, man,
just
all around.
Wrong. Yeah, manipulation. And whether Cali knows about it and is happy to go along with it for now, because she may well be, she might actually be smarter than Shaun, wouldn't actually surprise me. But yeah, it just doesn't look right what's going on when you consider that Cali is autistic. If Cali's autistic, she's very manipulatable. So it just makes it, I don't know, man. I just think people should be taking a closer look at things, really, in my humble opinion. But again, it's just based on my observations on the videos that we've seen. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. It's just a giant game, like I keep saying over and over. Giant game with these guys.
But why? I mean, what's the point? Like, he's got an empire possibly at his fucking fingertips here with a massive channel that he can actually make work. And he's in the background. Is it his ego? Is it power? He needs that. He needs to feel like he's got power. He doesn't have any power over us, that is for sure, and he never will. Regardless of how much information he knows, he can join the queue of people that know all our information. It's not a problem. It's not a worry. It's not a concern. This is valid criticism that he is getting, and I think it's only a matter of time before more people start waking up to this situation. No matter how much he tries to suppress it, if he keeps sticking his oar in again and again and again, and trying these silly things, getting somebody to come on and shout at you to try and get your name and things like that. I'm sorry, if this ever hit the mainstream, Attwood would be getting scrutinised by a hell of a lot more different sources than just us. And I don't know how we would deal with that then, but it would be as valid then as it is now.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The videos that you and I have put out have combined tens of thousands of views. You know, that's a lot of people out there. You know, when we first started, you know, a couple hundred views here and there, and
yeah,
it was no big deal.
Thousands of views.
But yeah, it's literally, you know, that's why we keep at it. I know some people are tired of it, and I respect that. But there's still a hell of a lot of people out there that want the truth to come out at the end of the day. And that has been the whole thing. He's been lying. He's been covering shit up. He's been illegally copyright striking. He's been doing all these. It's just getting worse for him. It's just been snowballing. And he could have ended this a long time ago by owning up to it. And that was it. You know, there'd be nothing else to talk about. And this is what James Esposito was trying to say last night. He was like, oh, everyone's tired of it already. The problem is all the extracurricular stuff that has happened since. You know, whether it's copyright strikes, you know, making these lawsuited threats, all this other shit, man. And it's
not paying the landlord.
Not paying the landlord,
Innocent people are getting mistreated in the wake of Attwood's decisions.
That's exactly it, man. It's not just the prank video. As he tried to... That's what he was trying to paint it at. It was just a prank video, get over it, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not just that. There is so much more. And, you know, this whole DaddyGate podcast channel that we have right now, it has been covering it from the very beginning to where we, you know, to the present. And it hasn't ended. That's why we still keep doing these damn shows. Because it's tons of content. But like you just said earlier, sooner or later, something's going to grab traction. And it's just a matter of time, man, because thousands of people now know the truth, you know? It's not just a handful of people. Now there's thousands and I'm going to venture out and say tens of thousands of people, you know, that know this. It's not just a handful of people anymore.
And I've tried to present the facts as clearly and fairly as possible. I mean, Esposito comes out and says, I think he referred to taking things out of context and blah, blah. It's like, dude, the context is worse. The context of that DaddyGate video of Shaun Attwood being an activist who interviews people about sexual abuse. That DaddyGate video, that's the context of the DaddyGate video. That's worse. This is a guest of Shaun Attwood's who went onto his show while she was being trafficked. If we take his official line, which he's sticking with the whole time, and then she ends up on her knees, unzipping his trousers, calling him daddy after she told him about abuse that she'd had as a child when she was 4 at the hands of an uncle, which apparently was recreated in that video. You know, the context is absolutely awful. And Attwood's a 50-odd-year-old man. Yeah, Shaun Attwood chose his role. You know, they could have reversed the roles, and Shaun Attwood, if Cali can bait paedophiles, then Shaun Attwood could have dressed up in a little Boy Scouts uniform, and I'm sure he would have fooled the same pedos that got fooled by Cali. Yeah. But one thing that was very interesting yesterday that I thought was the confirmation of something that I suspected from the start, which was that video, that DaddyGate video, was intended to be put onto adult work. And Esposito confirmed that yesterday, and it's the first time I've heard that confirmed, that video was for adult work. They said that was going to be put on adult work to trap paedophiles. I don't know, so Cali can get a fee, I suppose. So it was all about making money. Yeah. And when you heard Cali in this new video, Attwood said, "Have I ever trafficked you? Ha 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 ha, hilarious." And they both thought it was really, really funny. Because, I mean, of course you would if you were really, you know, if somebody was horrifically abused, you wouldn't just describe that horrific abuse to them and laugh about it. You wouldn't both laugh together, would you? Like, oh, hypothetically, imagine I did the exact same thing. Ha ha ha. But he asked her, "Have I ever trafficked you?" And she said, from what I could tell, she said, "No, you haven't. You've kept money either for me or from me." So I think she said from me. So you've kept money safe from me when I've asked you to, but you have never made money off me. So that was like a slip of the tongue. But why would, if I said to somebody, "Oh, have I ever trafficked?" Let's say somebody was accusing me of trafficking you, and then, you know, we had the same conversation. It's like, "Dude, people are accusing me of trafficking you. Have I ever trafficked you? Lol." And then you were like, "No. I mean, you kept money safe from me, but you know, you never made money from me."
That's not a straight up answer.
It'd be suspicious, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's and you caught that, you know. And then Shaun tries to quickly change the subject, you know, and.
Yep, talk over her, and then he removed that video. It makes you wonder if he he asked the person, this middle person who he's used to put the video up, who I think is actually an innocent victim who's being used in this, to be honest with you. But, you know, we can go into that another day, maybe, I don't know. But, you know, he asked her to take that video down as well. And is that because of that in the middle that he caught afterwards? He maybe thought, "Oh, it doesn't sound too good."
The whole thing is weird, man, and just stinks.
Yeah, because nobody in there, it goes without saying that somebody hasn't made money off you. Like, it doesn't need. Why would that ever be said? It would never pop into the head of, "No, you've never made money off me." Like, so strange.
And why put that video on a channel with a couple hundred subs? You know, for what reason?
Yeah, a couple hundred. It was obviously bait for us covering it, I think.
Yeah,
but you know, regardless of that, I don't think that the person who was involved in the middle was actually really.
All I got to know, I don't know one way or the other. Anything. I'm not making any accusations. Neither do I. I'm not making accusations for or against. I just know the whole thing is extremely fishy. I don't know what kind of communications with Attwood was going on. You know, I haven't seen any proof one way or the other. I don't know. The whole thing stinks. And
we know Attwood uses people.
Yeah.
And we know that it would be quite easy to be used by somebody with 670,000 subscribers or whatever. If you've just got a little channel, if they're emailing you and asking you to put something out, and it is an exclusive video as well. So I mean, I would have posted it if he'd sent it to me, but I wouldn't have taken it down again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but why take it down? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't have taken it down.
If you have permission to post it, why take it down?
That's it. And it's not like this person is friends with Mr. Attwood from their correspondence previously. This person was somebody that's against Attwood. So I would have just held my ground and says, "Well, I'm not taking it down." You know what I mean? I'll post it.
We all react differently to different situations.
Exactly, dude. It's possible to.
We could say how we would have done it, but in the end of the day, we're all different. And yeah, I don't know. I still don't know. I'm still thinking. I'm still brainstorming. I don't know. A lot of weird shit. That's all I can say. But just an, epic night. And then we had a couple callers after that whole debacle. And then shout out to BH. He hopped in, talked to me, and
BH came in and steered the ship as well after you went overboard. AH took over for a little bit and then very gracefully bowed out. So yeah, no, it was good. Like,
God, I'm too embarrassed to listen to it, man. Like, I must have.
Oh, it was nothing embarrassing, man. God's sake, dude.
But I talked to BH a few hours later, or I don't know when it was when I came to. I called him up. I go, "Hey, man, my bad." He goes, "You're good, bro."
Well, I mean, I managed to get a hold of you in the end and wake you up, and I was like,
woke
"Dude,
me up, man?
listen
Someone
to me."
woke me up.
I think Missy got a hold of you, but I think you were sleeping. You answered the phone and then hung up on her. So I got a hold of you, and then I was like, "Dude, listen to me very carefully," because I knew you were still sleeping, but you'd answered.
God, I was like, cold, bro. I don't know how I woke up to begin with.
You're still streaming. You need to go and speak to the audience or turn off the stream. And then you kind of hung up, and then I didn't notice that you turned it off, so I phoned you back again. I was like, "Dude, turn off the goddamn stream." And there's people in the comments, man. I mean, all the trolls found their courage after you fell asleep. It was so weird. You know what I mean? It's like as if there's some sort of like mythical creature, like the giant falls asleep and all the little pixies come out.
Yeah.
All these little trolls came out and
creatures came out of the woodwork.
James English, and they didn't have the balls to do it while you were there.
Yeah, unbeknownst to them, I'm just gonna go back and I can ban people from the live chat directly. So they had their little time to shine. Bam, bam, bam.
Well, I mean, you were like, "Look, nobody's banned, so it's a fresh slate."
I gave everyone a second chance, and if that's how they want to use their second chance, then that's it. I
saw these comments. I was really genuinely surprised to see comments from people who were like still as upset as the day, still as like bitter as the day. All these. I think it was a lot of these people that fell out with us over the hot mic situation. Yeah. All these people with grudges from 3-4 months ago, exact same grudges the second they were not banned.
It was, I didn't pay attention to it, but like I said, I gave everyone a second chance on that channel. If I had previously banned people, I told them to let me know and I'll unban you from the main channel, but pretty much unbanned everyone. And I also said, this is your last chance, any more stupid shit, and I will not be giving third chances out. So.
Definitely. And I don't mind people getting pissed off after the actual hot mic. It's understandable that some people were really pissed off after that. You know what I mean? It's totally understandable, but 95% of them have completely mellowed and everything's adjusted into focus.
Good,
but there's still these few people that are like viciously angry. But the thing is, they'll say lies. They'll say things like, "Well, you're not about truth. You're liars and all this shit." And it's like, point out where I've lied.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Yes, and the people that are still angry about the hot mic have something in common with Shaun Attwood, because Shaun Attwood, that's all, in one of his responses, pointed out the hot mic. So he was trying to build up support against
irony.
Us. Yeah. By using the hot mic. So all those people that are still pissed off, there's one thing in common you have with your buddy Daddy Attwood. So
they've swapped sides anyway. They've swapped sides. They think he's better than us.
Cyberbullying him
They think he's morally. They've gone back to thinking that he's morally superior to us. So
there's videos that have been made that you and I have been cyberbullying Shaun,
which is absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And first of all, it's not bullying if you're putting a video on your own channel. If you're going on other people's comments and continuously giving them shit all the time, then that's possibly bullying. I don't see why you call it cyberbullying. I don't know what the hell that's about. Just block the person. But the most vocal people who talk about cyberbullying are engaged in bullying comments all over different channels and on Twitter, and they have the absolute gall to talk about cyberbullying when it happens to them. Just hypocrisy
all around, bro, all around. But is it surprising by this? I mean, how long we've been going on this? Almost half a year now. You know what I'm saying?
Still surprises me. You know what I mean? It's like fun and games,
and the story continues, the saga continues. The DaddyGate podcast will continue. Good stuff. I'm sure people will be entertained. I'm sure they wanted more after last night, so
Yeah, it was definitely worth chatting about. I'm glad you were able to wake up and turn off the stream, because you can only imagine people with their volume turned all the way up and their headphones on, just enhancing the sound, trying to hear all different background sounds. And do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, man. Like, especially this one character that we both know, you know, like, probably got some ultra sonar headphones, you know, picking up, trying to find the location, you know, pinpoint location. Got some radars in the room, you know, just tinfoil hat firmly tied on. Yeah, man, I'm sure that happened. I don't care. It is what it is. Weird shit going on.
But yeah, like if you'd left it all night, it would have been funny. I mean, I think you did have a couple of good sleep talks. I definitely heard you say something about balls deep. You're like, I'm sure you said something like, fishing with Joe or something like that, and then you were like, balls deep, man. And I was like, God damn it, you're such a G. You know what I mean? Even when you're sleeping, man.
Oh shit.
I was like, fucking hell.
Oh, damn.
Wish my sleep talking was that cool. My sleep talking is about tiny little kangaroos and shit, man.
I didn't even know I was sleep talking. That's hilarious. Oh, well.
Just mumbling here and there.
Oh, shit.
So I'm sure there'll be videos made out about that. But it was excellent viral marketing, dude. I mean, if people think that it is entertaining, it is funny, and I'm not surprised that trolls came in and started having a bit of fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's the bitter ones that get me. I'm like, why are you so bitter? You know,
just laugh,
like
dude.
Have some fun with it. Have some fun with it. So there might be some videos made out of this, although I didn't think it was particularly interesting, especially when you consider everything that actually happened during the conversations as well. I mean, that was pretty good stuff. We've got confirmation that Cali's video was intended for adult work. James O. I don't think Sean's going to be too happy that you said that. No. And we've also got confirmation of James acknowledging that Shaun Attwood took the role of a paedophile in a video that he filmed with an abuse victim, which was intended to go on adult work.
And it was confirmed by 10 seconds of silence.
And then no denial, just, I don't... He said, yeah, I don't know, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Like, oh my God.
It worked out, man. It was a great show. Even though it ended the way it ended, it was a great show. We learned, we gleaned a lot. We saw the bullshit, and...
We had fun.
Yeah, we had fun. It was a complete setup. But in the end, they ended up looking like the fools, you know?
It was immature. It was like a schoolboy setup, man. It was the most ridiculous way for... These men are all in their bloody late 40s, 50s. I mean, it was ridiculous the way they carried on yesterday. It was just the weakest behaviour I've ever seen in my life. And if that's the kind of crew that Attwood surrounded himself with when his foot soldiers were butting heads with Sammy the Bull and fighting Sammy the Bull's foot soldiers, it's no wonder Sammy the Bull doesn't know who he is, you know?
Yeah. No question, bro. No question. All right, my man. Where can people find you?
I am Chancer Media on Twitter. I am Chancer on YouTube, and I'm Chancer on Odyssey as well. So you can go and hit me up on Odyssey. That would be cool. I've got some good videos up there just now, which are only on Odyssey. It's just the originals. And basically, I'm going to put up videos that I research from as well, because they're really useful, and it allows other people to go and reference them and do their own research, because there's going to be so much stuff that I've missed from those videos. But there's the interview with Sonia Poulton and Shaun Attwood, which, looking back with such experience in the situation now, looking back and watching that again is really interesting. So I would pretty much urge everybody to go over there and study that video and see if you can see anything interesting in there that's worth, and just clip it and put it on your channels. That's the way to do it. I mean, these things need to be preserved and put out there. And then also I've put on Attwood's video with Cali, where which was a video of a man prompting an autistic woman to take the blame for things that he's previously admitted to, and he then released that video after she was put into prison, of course. Oh, and one more thing just on that, very quickly. I had a few people coming on to my channel yesterday and saying Cali's not in prison because Brian Harvey just released a conversation with her. But that conversation that Brian Harvey had with Cali, I don't know if Brian mentioned it yesterday, but it was recorded before Cali went into prison. So it's probably just worth mentioning that to people.
Well, he even says the date, right?
he says that yeah, Cali says she's meeting Shaun on the 25th, and then Brian says, the 25th, so 9 days time then. So it's obviously not being recorded currently. There's no possibility. It would have to have been recorded last month or the month before, and it's part of the same conversation that he put up at the end of March. So that's when it was recorded before the, I think the 24th of March, I believe. You can go and check this out for yourselves, but try as I might, it's difficult to convince some people. They just don't believe me. They just think, nope. Somebody actually said, no, it's current because she's talking in the present tense. As if when you go back and listen to a recording, the tense that people are speaking in changes, you know? So difficult to persuade people, but I know nobody means any harm by it. People are just used to absolute bullshit, wool being pulled over their eyes repeatedly in this situation. So it's totally natural not to believe certain things. But we do have solid confirmation that Cali's in prison. So unless the court's in on it and lying,
well, that's the thing. I did.
She's there.
Yeah, we got the email showing, you know, what the court.
Yeah, I've had emails from them. You've had emails from them. So
yeah, that's good to put that to rest.
You're on Odyssey as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I did. The video that got a copyright strike is on my Odyssey. I'm still playing some 4D chess in my mind. How to proceed, because there was nothing, completely false and illegal copyright strike. You guys can see the video. I'll link that video to the description of this video in case you missed it. And I'll also put a link to my new channel where you can listen to the James Esposito interview and my snoring if you wish. I'll link that as well. And my main channel's still up. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to move forward. Maybe I'll do the Attwood stuff on the other channel, and anything unrelated to Attwood will go on my main channel. I don't know yet. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, I mean, we've got people as well that have reached out and said that they're prepared to help us with certain things as well. Yeah. Regarding unlawful acts, unlawful copyright strikes, like people actually are clued up on this, and they've offered their assistance with certain things and advice, etc. So we'll be looking into that as well. Yeah, so much love to all and each and one of you who have followed this thing from start to finish. You guys are still following this channel. This channel is growing a little bit here and there, so you've helped it build the genre. DaddyGate is its own genre now. Shaun Attwood Prank Gone Wrong is its own genre of video. Yeah. And that's because of you guys in the audience who've 100%. Kept it going. Hell yeah. So much love, you scumbags and scumbets. That's not even a word, but whatever. You guys know what I mean. Much love. Hope everyone has a exquisite weekend, and this show should be coming out sooner than last time. Yeah. It's going to have minimal editing on it, so we'll try and get it out. I will get this out tonight for us, so it'll be out on Sunday for everyone to listen to. Oh, no. All right, Chancy Poo. Yeah, man. You take it easy. You going back to bed, or you can do some push-ups and have a cold shower? Maybe a mixture of everything. Yeah, sounds good, man. Maybe I'll start snoring again. Snore off the hangover. Yeah, man. All right, yo. All right, dude. Peace. See you later, folks.